Right now, I do want to bring in James Walkinshaw, Congressman, of course, a Democrat representing Virginia's 11th district. He is on the House Oversight Committee and is there in New York. Again, joining us now. Congressman, thank you so much for taking the time to join us. I know you have a busy day ahead of you, so we definitely appreciate it.
Yeah, happy to be with you.
And first off, I wanted to start by asking you kind of the basic question of what you expect that you are hoping to hear from Hillary Clinton later today and then from Bill Clinton tomorrow.
Well, I expect we'll hear from Secretary Clinton what we already know, which is that she has had nothing, zero, zip, zilch, nada to do with Jeffrey Epstein. She submitted a sworn statement to that effect. Frankly, it's ridiculous that Chairman Comer and the Republicans are moving forward with her deposition, given the fact that she has nothing to do with this. So I expect we'll hear that from her today.
What question or questions might you be asking there? I know you probably can't go into super specifics because, I mean, a lot of that has to remain under wraps. We're talking closed door. But what questions might you have?
Well, I think my questions will be for her to verify what she's submitted in writing, which is that, to her knowledge, she never met Jeffrey Epstein. She never flew on Epstein's plane. She never went to Epstein's island. She had no knowledge of his crimes or activities. I think we'll be asking her those questions today. We already know the answers to those, but they'll be asked and answered again today during the deposition, I suspect.
And you kind of touched on this off the top here, but how do you feel about really how all of this has played out overall? Of course, we saw the hearings that took place. We saw that Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton did submit those written statements. That was a topic of discussion. Then, of course, you had the situation with the potential charge of contempt of Congress. How do you specifically feel about how all of this played out?
Well, my position and the position of Oversight Committee Democrats throughout this process has been that anybody who has information about our investigation into Jeffrey Epstein should answer questions and talk to the committee, regardless of political party, Democrats, independents, Republicans, doesn't matter. Anyone who has information, certainly anyone who might have been involved, should answer questions before the committee. So I'm looking forward to having the opportunity to ask President Clinton questions tomorrow to hopefully confirm what he has also shared in a sworn statement in writing, that he had no knowledge of Epstein's crimes. But I think it's important that we ask those questions, and if we can, gain extra information that could advance our investigation.
And of course, we're taking a live look there on the left-hand side of your screen ahead of all of this. And it's not in D.C., as some people might have expected. It's over in New York, north of New York City. Why was it so important for you to be there? Because I know that not everyone on the committee is expected to actually attend this. So why was it so important for you specifically to be there?
Well, I've been very involved in the investigation over the last 6 months, and I just want to ensure that the right questions are asked and answered. I want to hear for myself the responses, especially from President Clinton tomorrow. And I want to ensure that my Republican colleagues keep the commitment that they were forced to make to keep the questioning limited to issues related to the Epstein investigation and sex trafficking. I think there was a hope among some of my Republican colleagues that they could reopen past accusations they've made against Secretary Clinton and President Clinton. And I want to make sure that we stay focused today on the Epstein investigation. That's what we're here to do.
What do you say to Republicans, the committee members there on the other side of the aisle? Again, you touched on this as well, but what is your message to them as this begins? 2 days of depositions with Hillary and former President Bill Clinton.
Well, my message is it's appropriate that we're going to be deposing and asking questions of President Clinton tomorrow. But if it's appropriate to ask questions of President Clinton, it's also appropriate for us as a committee to depose and ask questions of Howard Lutnick, Elon Musk, and Donald Trump, who's in the files thousands and thousands of times, far more than President Clinton is mentioned. So it's my hope that when we get through these depositions of the Clintons, that my Republican colleagues and Chairman Comer will display the same level of enthusiasm for questioning high profile Republicans like Howard Lutnick, Elon Musk, and President Trump.
One thing that we've seen with these high profile depositions, we've seen a lot of them actually released for media members, the public to see. Do you believe, and I want to get your opinion on this, that this deposition with Hillary and Bill Clinton should be released to the public?
It should be, and I believe that it will be. Yes. And it's my view that it should have been taking place in a public setting, in a congressional hearing room rather than a closed door deposition. But I certainly believe that the transcript and the video should be released publicly, and it's my understanding that they will be.
And my last question here before I let you go, wanted to get your take as we've had several Democrat and Republican lawmakers sounding off over the past several days here. What were your thoughts overall on the message that was sent out during President Trump's first State of the Union address of his second term? What stood out to you, and what do you want to make sure is mentioned?
Well, I think what I heard is a president who's increasingly out of touch with the challenges that real Americans are facing across the country. He's ensconced in his bubble in Washington, surrounded by yes men and yes women, focused on constructing his golden ballroom. For him to claim that we're in a golden era with a roaring economy just doesn't match the experiences that hardworking American families are facing right now. 10 million Americans set to lose their health care coverage because of his so-called big, beautiful bill. Rising costs, $1,700 a year on average, rising costs because of his reckless tariff policies. He just seems to be out of touch with the struggles that the American people are having to make ends meet. And he presented no clear plan or agenda to address that during the State of the Union.
Congressman James Walkinshaw, as always, thank you so much for taking the time to join us here. Anything we missed that you want to make sure to mention before you head over to that deposition?
No, I think you covered it. Thanks for having me.
All right, Congressman, we appreciate your time. Thank you again.
Thank you.